Okay, so we've all been there, right? You walk into a friend's house and it's just perfect, spotless. There's no clutter, not a single dish in the sink, and everything just feels so calm and under control. And you can't help but ask yourself, how on earth do they do it?
Seriously, it's a question that can drive you kind of crazy, especially when you glance over at that pile of laundry that's basically become a permanent part of your bedroom chair. You try, you really do, but somehow life just seems to get in the way. So what is their secret? Well, here's the surprising truth of it all. It's not about having more discipline or some kind of superhuman willpower. The psychology behind it is actually way deeper. People who keep their homes consistently clean, well, they're running a completely different mental program, and we're going to break down exactly what that program is.
To really understand this, we have to start with how our brains physically react to the world around us. And it turns out, your brain doesn't really draw a thick line between your inner world and your outer world. They're much more connected than you might think.
This brings us to a super important idea called cognitive load. Just think of it like your brain's processing power, like the RAM on your computer. Every single thing that's out of place, that stack of mail, the shoes by the door, the mugs on the coffee table, your brain sees every single one as a tiny unfinished task. And that mental to-do list, it's incredibly draining.
And listen, this isn't just a feeling. There's hard data on this. Researchers at Princeton University actually found that physical clutter directly competes for your attention. It literally overloads your visual cortex, making it measurably harder to focus and process information. So yeah, your messy room isn't just messy, it's actively slowing your brain down. And you can see the very real physiological price we pay right here. That constant, low-grade distraction from clutter, it's not just in your head. Studies from UCLA actually show that women who describe their homes as cluttered had higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol all day long. And what does that lead to? Well, fatigue, a higher chance of feeling depressed, and just a constant slow drain on your mental energy.
Okay, so if clutter is that draining, what's the big motivation to clean? I promise you, it's not about a deep-seated love for scrubbing floors. It's all about a fundamental human need: control. Just think about your day-to-day life for a second. Most of it is pretty unpredictable, right? We can't control the traffic, we can't control the stock market, we can't always control what happens at work. All that chaos creates this background hum of anxiety. But your home? That's your space. The state of your kitchen counter is 100% within your control, and being able to exercise that control is an incredibly powerful antidote to stress.
Psychologists have a name for this. It's called behavioral activation. It's basically just using a physical action to shift your emotional state. So when you're feeling anxious, and you physically get up and do a simple task that has a clear start and finish, like washing the dishes, your brain registers what's called a completion loop. It gets a tiny hit of dopamine, that nervous energy has somewhere to go, and you suddenly feel a sense of calm. You've restored order, not just in the room, but inside your head too. But there's one final layer to all this, and honestly, it's the most powerful one. This is the real secret that makes cleaning automatic instead of a constant uphill battle. You see, for people who are just naturally tidy, they've stopped thinking about cleaning as some chore they have to do. The real psychological switch flips when it becomes a part of who they are. It's their identity. They see themselves as the kind of person who lives in an orderly, clean space. And once that fundamental shift happens, the behavior becomes almost effortless. Think about it. We all instinctively act in ways that line up with our self-concept. So how do you build a new one? You give your brain evidence. Every single time you make your bed or wipe down the counter after you cook, you're handing your brain a tiny piece of evidence that says, see, this is who I am now. The goal isn't to force yourself with discipline forever. It's to repeat the action until it becomes so automatic that it's just part of you. And these small identity-building habits, they can have surprisingly huge payoffs. For instance, take a look at this number, 19%. Any idea what that could be? Well, according to the National Sleep Foundation, people who make their bed every single morning are 19% more likely to say they regularly get a good night's sleep. How wild is that? That one tiny act of creating order at the very start of the day just sets off this positive chain reaction. So when we put all these pieces together, it completely reframes what cleaning is actually all about. It goes so much deeper than just tidying up. What this really boils down to is that taking care of your space is a form of taking care of yourself. It's an active way you can manage your stress, sharpen your focus, and feel a little more in control of your life. In a way, you're cleaning out your mind just as much as you're cleaning your home. And ultimately, your environment is a mirror. The space you live in and day out,
is a constant physical message you're sending to your own subconscious about what you believe you're worth. A chaotic space sends one kind of message. A calm, orderly space sends a very, very different one. So that's the real question I want to leave you with. When you look around your home right now, what message is it quietly sending you?